Hello world. It's Thursday the 25th of January and we're looking at a forecast for soaring from Worcester for tomorrow, Friday the 26th of January 2024. As we can see, we still have a westerly flow over the task area. It's a little bit stronger in places than it was today, but a little bit weaker along some of the ridges. Let's look at that in detail. Surface wind at 2 o'clock, we can see that the green is between 8 and 10 knots, and we've got that on the front ridge, a bit lighter in places, and we've got that on the Langeberg, but once again also a bit lighter in places, and the wind in the Breda River Valley is blowing down the valley with some flow onto the Langeberg Ridge as well there. By 5 o'clock it's swinging around. It's going a bit more southwesterly, but not nearly as southerly as we've seen it on other days. And this southwesterly flow carries on down to about Sarenburg, and then it tapers off there. And on to the east, it's flowing southerly straight onto the Langeberg. So, all good. It's a blue day. I haven't got the cloud forecast because it looks very bleak. There isn't any cloud. So looking at the height of the updraft strength, we can see the green stuff starts at, well, that's 3,500, 4,000. So 4,500 is the green, and that's on most of the ridges. We don't get as high, or maybe just touching 5,000 on the Witzenberg, similar to today. There's some lift in the Breda River Valley, but also not as strong as it was today. By 5 o'clock, this is looking out a bit. You can see that carries on to the north and the east, around 4,000 foot. By 5,000 foot, by 5 o'clock it's cooling down, both to the east and, well, to Clava and places. So some of the extremities are cooling down. We'll see that later when we look at the task options. I put this one in here just because it leads on to the next set of slides I'm going to look at. 11 o'clock, we can see that it's still too early to start launching, but we do have a very steady northwest flow, 20 knots straight down the runway. By 2 o'clock we can start launching. That northwest flow is still there, but it's above 4,500, 5,000 feet. We can see that wind speed picks up and carries on climbing, and that's normally an indication for possible wave. So let's look quickly. Well, this is still 3,000 feet. 2 o'clock you can launch onto Ordenburg or onto Vic Peak, and also onto Kierenberg. You can make your way there. Slanghoek, you can see, is also working over here. That's useful. A little bit higher, this is 850 millibars, about just over 4,000 something feet. You can see that the airfield's actually under some sink. This is wave that's sinking over there. It might just be worth thinking about that with the tows tomorrow to get the tug pilots to keep a little bit upwind of Worcester and try and stay under this yellow stuff. It'll make the towing go a little bit faster. Vic Peak still an option. There's some stronger wave that's more interesting between Rawsonville and the Sneeuwkop Peak. Still Slanghoek, still Kierenberg, and also if you get there, that's the Undertour. So there are options, and by 5 o'clock we can see we've got a clear bar from the Undertours all the way through Rawsonville and onto the ridge on the far side, while Worcester is actually in sync. Going up to 700 millibars, that's in controlled airspace unless you manage to get into the Hex River Valley here. But you can see this is clear wave formation, and just put it in just so that you can see the wave patterns. But that doesn't mean you'll be flying a wave task tomorrow. So let's look what our options are. Let's start off with, we go east first. So Robertson, 2 o'clock. It's a high inversion, not as high as it was today. Westerly flow, but still quite flyable. Swellendam at 2 o'clock, you can see that the wind direction changes. It's southerly at the ground level and becomes westerly a bit further up. It's a bit lighter. It's thermic up to 4,000 feet, and it's not such a strong inversion at 2 o'clock. Riversdale's similar. Inversion's a bit more pronounced. And I've gone out to Herbertsdale, but that's probably a bit far. Looking at 5 o'clock, Herbertsdale has died, and you can see the sea breeze effect there. Riversdale is worse, and Swellendam no better. You can strong sea breeze here, and it's dead at 2,000 feet. Robertson's still working at 5 o'clock, although winds are light and westerly, but yeah, definitely still working. So options to the east, maybe a bit short of Swellendam, depending on what time you get there. Looking to the north, that's Torbach. Once again in the valley, the inversions are a bit lower, but the wind is onto the ridge. That's Porterville, 2 o'clock. Once again, a bit lower inversion than today. Clanwilliam, 2 o'clock. Renosterhoek, 2 o'clock. And then looking at Clava, also 2 o'clock. Clava, 5 o'clock is too far and too late. Renosterhoek, 5 o'clock, still working. Clanwilliam and Porterville at 5 o'clock is actually looking quite reasonable. That's over 4,500 feet again, and it's still thermic, and the wind is blowing a good direction for the ridge. Finally back at Torbach, once again 2 o'clock, it's working nicely. Looking at a few more details. Temperature tomorrow it's still hot, but it's not quite as hot as today. This red stuff here is actually below 35 degrees, 34, 35 degrees, and Worcester is a little bit cooler. So maybe it will be in the 33 to 35 degrees and not 35 to 40. And lastly, there's this fire that's still burning between Wolseley and the dam at Voervlei Dam, and it's actually looking a bit more serious than it was this time yesterday. So it might be that airspace is not a good place to set a task through tomorrow. So definitely a task day tomorrow. Enjoy it. Remember, rule number 1 for flying on the mountain: don't hit the mountain. Have fun and fly carefully. Finally, a quick look at Saturday. If I got it here. Anyway, Saturday will be another task day. I don't have the charts up, and we can leave that for now. So fly safely, have fun, and we will see you on the weekend.